I'm going to ask you about Baby King, okay? That day I was in the car, man, and I was listening to a playlist. A song by Baby King played. It's a minor blues, if I'm not mistaken, which is Blues Boy, Toy, I think. Do you remember this song? No, I don't remember the name. And he, man, isn't playing well. Like, it's an all-instrumental song. It must be about 3 minutes long, right? And then you hear some things from BB King, and you say, man, it's really impressive. Give a summary of BB King, man, because I think he has some aspects that people sometimes listen to a BB King expecting a certain level of cleanliness, maybe a more virtuosic guy, and he doesn't have that, right? There's a video of BB King playing blues jazz. Have you seen it, man? From an institutional video. Institutional, I've seen it. And he's playing some Mixolydian scales, you know? But kind of rough and all. I can see a very beautiful side of BB King, and I also see another side of his difficulty in playing, that some things maybe that stiffer hand. What do you think about BB King?
What I think about BB King is this. It depends on which era you're listening to him, right? Because if you listen from the beginning, he was playing more like the blues crowd. Then he started developing, branching out a bit more. He has a lot of influence from Lonnie Johnson and T-Bone Walker. And T-Bone Walker was one of the first guitarists from blues to incorporate more jazzy elements. One of the first was the band, right? Because the strings were heavier at the time, so they made shorter bends. It was before the introduction of Ernie Ball strings. Those, what are they called? Slinkies, right?
They mixed 7, wasn't it?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But, so the strings were heavier. There wasn't this exaggerated bending. What was it?
Were they 3 back then?
They were heavier. I don't know if there was a specific gauge, but it was yeah. It was with the advent of Ernie Ball. Slinky. I think that's the model that started the slightly lighter strings. But T-Bone Walker used a lot of major thirds, a lot of major 6ths, 9ths, chords with 9ths, 13ths.
There's some jazz influence.
Jazz elements, and BB King picked up a lot of that and took it to another level. So there's a period of BB King where he was more virtuosic, yes. I recommend you watch Live in Africa. It's a show he did in Africa.
What year was that, perhaps, roughly?
74, something like that. 73, 74, I think. You're mistaken. Like, it's a different level of virtuosity, right? It's not a lot of notes, but he's playing some really crazy notes like that. Those notes outside the pentatonic scale.
Say the name again. Live in Africa. Can you picture the cover of this album for the folks here?
Live in Africa. I don't know if he actually released an album of this thing, but it's a show. It's on YouTube.
I think he was at his peak.
So I think he's a guy who focused a lot on, and he really got into this big band concept. The more musicians you have playing with you, the more you hold back. Stevie Ray Trio. Later, at the end of his career, Reese Winans joined on keyboards on the Hammond, right piano. But if you're playing in a trio, there's more empty space to fill, right? You start incorporating other elements. So BB King with a brass section of Hammond, bass, another guitarist, a drummer.
Show you said from 74.
And just 474 I found.
Is there an album too? And put the album cover there? Yeah, there's the video cover here, but it can be done.
It's to put. Where was I again?
You were talking about him from that time, about the size of the trio, the size of the band.
So I think the more elements in the band, the more economical you become. And as he focused more on the crooner aspect, being the singer, he wrote some really nice songs, sang, and focused more on that aspect too. So he played less.
He didn't even play chords, right?
Yeah, he didn't play chords. When he did play a chord, it was that chord with the 13th on the 5th string. Playing just 3 little notes, actually. Like playing the 6th, the 9th, and the tonic isn't that right? Yeah. Like he did little things like that, really short chords. People say he didn't have musical theory, that he claimed he didn't, right? That he didn't know. And that strong vibrato of his, he was trying to emulate Booker White's slide, right? Booker White was his uncle. He was a very good Delta blues guy. So he, according to his interviews, didn't learn to play slide. He wanted to emulate that sound, right? And he developed that really cool vibrato of his, right?
Which is really a trademark. There are some things about BB King that are very simple but very striking. One is that high octave. I think that's his thing. The vibrato thing and everything else. Let me ask you about another guy. You mentioned Buddy Guy. So what is his importance to you? I think for blues in general.
For me, personally, it's because before I actually moved to the United States, I went for the first time. I went to Chicago 3 times, right? The first time was in 2006.
And now you've been playing alongside him, right, man?
I did. I opened for him. Guys, I have 2 more scheduled now for Junior. I opened for his shows here in Brazil as well during the 2012 tour. I did it here at Vivo Rio.
I see.
And I did it in São Paulo at Via Funchal, right? Yeah. Personally, Barriga for me was a guy that, like, I listened to his records at home, learned the notes, everything, right? Note by note and all. And suddenly I moved to Chicago. I'm going every Monday to his bar, which was the Jam Day, because he has a bar in Chicago, the Legends.
And he really gives you a shot.
So I was there playing, made friends with the guys, played every night. And when it was my last night, one of the times I was there, one of the guys from the Jam said, "Damn, you're traveling back to Brazil tomorrow. Is there anything special you want today for the Jam?" I said, "Well, just put me to play with a good musician, right? Because sometimes you go to the Jam and you get up there with a musician that sometimes you don't know who they are. And like it's like putting, I don't know, Messi to play with a bunch of players who aren't playing well, and it makes Messi's job harder, right?"
Of course, of course.
I'm not saying I'm Messi, no. I'm trying to say that, like, you're going to arrive, you're going to play worse with the guy who plays, you're going to play worse. So, if you're not playing with Musa Ousmane, I said, "Hey, get some cool people too." Then he said, "All right." Then later, in a bit, he came and said, "Look, Regaya is going to play with you today." I said, "Okay. You play there, do your thing, then you lower the dynamics. When you lower the dynamics, if he likes what you're doing, he'll get on stage." So there it was, one of the songs I was doing.
Kills lives or devours.
Then I lowered the dynamics and he turned from the bar, got up, looked at me, grabbed the microphone. Wow, scary, huh, man? He saw me there. I was always there. I took a picture with him once, spoke to him very quickly, but he's kind of reserved, right? He's an older gentleman too. I played. Anyway, there's a very short record from that time. No one had cell phones. And back then it was forbidden to film, right? Oh, there was still that. It was forbidden. I played a little bit with him there. So for me, the experience with Buddy Guy was like people asking, "Wow, how was it to play with Buddy Guy? Were you nervous?" And then I remember the story, and I wasn't, man, because I've been playing with him, you know. I've been playing with him since I was a kid in my room.
But didn't his presence intimidate you?
No, because it was like I was playing with someone I already knew, since I listened to his records so much, learned so much by ear, played along with the records. And suddenly he was there. And I knew exactly the dynamics he uses, where he goes, the songs he sings. So for me, it was very natural. It was very beautiful. So his importance to me is that his importance to music. He was a guy who influenced Jimi Hendrix, right? There's a famous video on YouTube where Jimi Hendrix is in the audience with a recorder taping Buddy Guy's show. The mannerisms of Jimi Hendrix with his head while playing, Buddy Guy was the one who did all that, right? And Buddy Guy, he was quite frenetic in his playing, his singing too. And he's the last one still alive, right? Still active, right? The last of the greats still. His importance is incredible.
Thank you for watching this clip from Starling Cast. You can watch the full episode here in the video description. And take the opportunity, if you're a guitarist, to join the largest virtual school in Brazil, exclusively for guitarists, by clicking on the QR code or in the video description. I'll be waiting for you there.